Hello and welcome to the show. Now, the last silly car build I did, I used a Ford Transit, so for today I've gone pretty much the complete opposite end of the spectrum, and I've got a Porsche 718. Very, very small, incredibly light, is going to have plenty of power. Handling could be interesting though. I have built, I've had a race one of these, I think it was a B-Class race version of these, very, very quick car, but it can certainly be a bit of a handful, and that was in B-Class. So what on earth is going to happen with this one when it has been fully modified? I'm not quite sure. A little bit scared of it, I will be honest. Now, our choice of engine. We've got 2.5 litre flat 4, we have the 3 litre flat 6, or the 3 litre V8 Racing. The V8 Racing engine is slightly lighter, however, it won't get quite as much power as the 3 litre flat 6, and that is the one that I'm going to be using. Yes, we do add couple of £100 on to the weight. However, it's still only £1,500. That is incredibly light in a car that is going to be having, I think this engine gets nearly 900 horsepower in it. That's a lot of power. That is an awful lot of power in this car. I think I do have some bits bought for this. I might have tried to build it for something at some point, so yeah, that's why I have various parts purchased on it. We're up into S-Class already. We haven't changed the tyres yet. We're going to get some lovely race tyres. Now, if this car is controllable, it does, of course, stand a chance of going very, very quickly. It's likely to have incredibly high PI. 235 tyres on the front doesn't fill me with confidence in terms of, oh dear, 255s on the rear. Yeah, we don't have the biggest of tyres. Yes, the car is small and light, but for the amount of power and the conditions this is going to be driven in, I think this may be quite slidey. We may seriously struggle in terms of traction, as we often have seen from the horrendously powerful lightweight cars. You know, I'm thinking of the Jaguar D-Type, the other Porsche 550 Spider that went around as well. Yeah, I think this might be quite sideways, and do fear that it might be quite twitchy if it starts sliding around. That could be quite a danger. But it will be very quick accelerating. It'll be mighty fast accelerating. Could it quite compete with the Alpha 33? I don't think so. We have not got the power of the 33, or I suspect the traction either, but it's not going to be far off. Right, so we are on to the engine bits and pieces, up to 512 horsepower at the moment. I was wondering if this car might get into P-Class. It has, though, well, once it's kind of hit R-Class now, this power is not actually really making a huge difference to anything. It's not making a huge difference. We were adding 50 horsepower, it's only adding 10 PI onto the car. Now that does give me little bits of concern that the handling statistics, if you like, that it might not be expecting the handling to be particularly amazing. It is gradually going. I guess the turbos will probably add a fair bit with this, because that's about the only thing that we have. I guess turbos and intercooler are the big ones. There we go, 150 horsepower added from the turbos, 817 horsepower in the Porsche. The intercooler will add 35 horsepower and loses 1 PI. Yes, it does add some weight on as well, but yeah, this is not filling me with confidence in terms of handling. Again, the oil and cooling will remove 1 PI, despite adding some power. 861 horsepower in a car weighing just 1,587 pounds. That is a big power to weight ratio in a vehicle that is very small and has rather small tyres. Yeah, this is likely to be quite interesting. I'm going with interesting. Of course, to test out the Porsche. What is going on with those windscreen wipers? Sorry, it's got a windscreen wiper on the inside. It does. It's on the inside, isn't it? I've never noticed that before. That is incredible. Sorry, I'm completely and utterly distracted by that. Yes, the Porsche. We've come to the Virginia International Raceway, where it will have 5 laps in an attempt to go as fast as possible. Our current leader remains the Toyota Camry NASCAR with a 107.0. I suspect we might be struggling to get near to that sort of time. While we may well have the acceleration and the braking in this, having the control is a lot more questionable. But let us see what the car can do. It is certainly plenty of wheel spin off the line. Will we get any traction? Okay, I think we've got silly gear ratios, but by the way that we've gone through all of them, yeah, it has got fairly silly gear ratios. Right, fortunately, we haven't had too many cars have such absurd gear ratios, so we're going to fix this one up. Otherwise, it's going to be buzzing in the limiter the whole way down the start-finish straight here, and that would be unfair to the Porsche. We have done relatively well on Forza 6, but sometimes it can happen to the car. Now we should be a lot more sensible. The suspension is kind of one of the concerns. Beside the traction and general oversteeringness that is likely to happen, the car lifting off of the ground, the front wheels maybe not necessarily being fully in the air, but just unloading the front wheel upwards is likely to be a little bit, or could be, problematic for the Porsche. We're having issues getting it turned in there, but we made it. Also, the bumps down towards turn 1. The speed that this thing is going to be hitting the mat is a lot, and we've seen in the past these classic race cars, the very light vehicles, have major issues across the bumps, and I would expect to be fighting this car. We will, of course, though, see in about 10 seconds time once we have launched it out of the final corner. Can we find some traction? We can't quite beat. Oh god, we cannot get that power down whatsoever out of that final corner. Here we go. Now the car is really soaring. The bumps are a little bit 187 miles an hour. The bumps are a little bit problematic. Oh, the brakes are not as good as I thought they were going to be. Okay, we're fine. That was a little close for comfort in a very, very expensive and rare Porsche. Nearly ended up very quickly in the wall. It's quite similar in many ways to the Jaguar D-Type in terms of the straight line speed down there. It has more than enough power to accelerate, but we lack the traction to put that power down onto the road. Now we're going to try and be, we're going to try and be neat and tidy through these corners. If the back end starts getting away from you, it is very difficult to catch it and keep up any speed. You can catch it, but in doing so you will lose just about all of your speed. Unsurprisingly oversteering through that section. Around here we've got okay speed. I'm not quite sure. Ooh, puddle is dangerous. Everything is affecting this car massively, as is again often the case with these classic race cars. They get into trouble a lot quicker. Right, let's try and do a little bit better down here. Oh god, come on car, stop spinning your wheels. Let's get some speed up. Ooh, okay, no, we're going on the brakes there, because that was nearly a very, very big spin. I think I might have got a puddle on the outside of the course there. It just spat the car sideways. We did get it slowed down, and we were still up towards the 190 mile an hour mark down there. This thing is crazy, kind of as expected. Some more sliding. Please stop oversteering, car. It'd be really nice if we could have a lap without you oversteering frantically, or then understeering as well. Now, the curbs / puddles down here do like to pull the car around a little bit. Second gear is definitely going to be where we look like, even third gear perhaps on the exit there. Can we carry some more speed? We can. That's better. It's a little bit better in terms of speed, but we have to get back on the brakes. I just don't trust the car at all coming through here. I think it can go a little faster, but there is not a huge amount of trust in it. Oh Christ, the brakes. Yeah, it does not get stopped anywhere near as well as I was kind of expecting it to. Right, fourth gear. No, we can't quite go for it like that. No, it's still not. 10.7 that time around. I've just got to be really patient with this car if I want any hope of getting that power down onto the road. 187 miles an hour is very, very quick into the braking zones. I believe that is faster than the Jaguar D-Type, so it can put its power down a little bit better, although getting slowed down from that speed is a tad uncomfortable. Now, this is where we were losing a fair bit of time. There's just no rear end grip in it whatsoever as you try and push it through these corners. We're not even talking about on-power oversteer that's going on. I mean, that is a thing. That's actually not too bad through these corners. Just the rear end lets go. If I'm a little bit delicate with the throttle, the on-power oversteer here isn't too bad. It is me being very tentative around here, though, to make sure that the car survives. That was a little bit less tentative, and then we do get the big on-power oversteering moments. Okay, final corner. I think we're going to keep it in third gear this time. See if that is better for getting the power down. You can see where I spun the wheels up, trying to get to full throttle quicker last time out. I think that worked quite well in third gear. 109.3 that time around. That's good. That's very good indeed for a car such as this. Can I find any more time? Don't know. That last lap was pretty damn good. I was pretty pleased with that one. We have chucked it into the first corner quite quickly. Fernando's not getting turned too badly, actually, through that section. 40 miles an hour around there is not bad. Not bad going. You've got to kind of keep the front end of the car on the ground. You don't want it wiggling around up in the air. I'm still liking third gear. I'm liking third gear, but I'm not liking that curb. I think it's catching on the puddle behind the curb is what's doing it for the Porsche. Come on, try and put down that pad. This is about the only corner where I wasn't massively fast last time out because we got a big slide. I'm braking early. I'm trying to get it turned in and settled for the exit. I think it's a little bit better. Oh, that bloody puddle. You just can't. I've never had a car so twitchy on that puddle. It just spits it sideways through there. And now it is the patience with the throttle as we run towards the line. It's not quicker. I think the big twitch on that puddle in there slightly put me out for the final couple of corners. Well, we were only about a tenth up anyway on that particular lap. Yeah, this is a mighty quick car. As expected, tough to drive, although a little bit more controllable than it could have been. A 109 is a very, very respectable time. It will put the car into 9th place. It goes quicker than the Aston Martin Vanquish, the Cadillac CTS-V, BMW M6. It beats the 550 Spider that had the same engine, I believe, as this car. It does lose out to the quad-rotor McLaren 570S, the Lotus Type 49, and the Alfa Romeo 33. It's not that far down on the 33, and let's not forget, the 33 had the 1,200 horsepower V12 and a hell of a lot bigger tyres than this Porsche. It could, while it's still a bit of a handful, a lot of a handful in fact, it could put its power down slightly better, a fair bit better in fact, than the Porsche, especially out of that final corner. So that is not bad going from the Porsche. It makes up its time through the corners relatively well. Not as bad handling as it could have been, and certainly plenty of acceleration. And the braking, a little bit tougher getting it slowed down, but yeah, fairly solid lap time. Now though, it is time to find out just how quickly this Porsche will go in a straight line. While we may not have over 1,000 horsepower in this car, I am still expecting it to go really rather quickly. The 550 Spider with the same engine did 264 miles an hour down this Le Mans straight, and I would expect the 718 to be rivaling that, certainly. We shall go and take off the aero parts. Now, while I suspect this may have the potential to get to those sort of speeds, the bumps are likely to be interesting. Also, note I just took the aero off and we lost speed. That does not fill me with confidence. That suggests to me that we might need some aero to stop the car from taking off. Wouldn't be the first, but would be one of the very few cars that does require aero. Okay, so if we... because we're going to want as little drag as we can get away with, but we do still need... we might still need some. Don't know whether we will or not. Because now it's going... yeah, okay, that's odd. So the gearing that I had before, it was actually quicker with aero, but this setting, it is quicker without. Okay, in fact, let's just try one more thing, because I was trying individually. Again, it was seeing if I wanted to keep the drag as little as possible. I will put both up and see if that does anything, just to be on the safe side. No, see, that does reckon that's 10 miles an hour slower. Okay. This might take off. This could cause some big issues heading down. And the bumps on the Le Mans straight are not the largest for normal cars, but when you have a vehicle travelling this fast that is this small and this light, they do send them quite impressively flying. We've seen the Lotus 11 take off a few times down this straight. It can get quite bad for these cars. We will have to wait and see how it affects the Porsche. Yeah, it is quite a snappy car. Once it started going, it doesn't really like being collected. It wants to snap round on you very, very quickly. So probably not a good idea. Ooh, it's not liking these bumps at all down here. The car's just kind of getting stuck. It's going sideways, and I'm trying to counter it, and it's just not responding. It's getting caught in the bumps and the camber of the road. If we make it to the end of the straight without a tremendous crash, God knows what this is going to do around the kink. Acceleration-wise, it's 194 miles an hour as we leave the car. It's not as fast. We've seen a fair few cars get 200. I say a fair few. Often this sort of car will hit 200 before the corner. This one, not quite there. We're up to 245 miles an hour. We're going to get to 250 now. I mean, it got from 200 to 250 very, very quickly, but it is struggling to keep making any more progress. We're at 253. The bumps have not launched it skyward. They're a little bit uncomfortable. 255 miles an hour now. Here we go across these bumps. Big wheelie has been... Oh, God. What's gone on there? Oh, bad things have happened to the 718. That was very peculiar. That might be the most peculiar of crashes I've had down here. It kind of did a wheelie, it settled, and I thought we were going to be good to make the turn, and then I don't know, it kind of bounced around at the apex of the corner and then got stuck on its side. That's very odd. It's very odd indeed. Again, I think it might have sort of dug into the slight bump, the slight camber on the inside, and that unsettled it. Interesting. Well, we had sort of small issues coming towards turn 1 at Virginia, but the rest of the track was actually okay. Around here, a lot more problems in just the brief section driving it, with the suspension getting unhappy. I'm going to go with unhappy because I'm not actually sure quite what the car's doing, but not liking the bumps and the camber around here. We cracked 255 miles an hour, which is a rather mighty speed. Let's not forget that. But yeah, the bumps caused us a few issues, and we had an upside down moment. Is it the first car I've rolled in this silly car build series at the King at Le Mans? I know I've smacked the wall a few times and spun, but this might be the first car that's rolled over there. I don't know. But yeah, that is something a little bit different from the Porsche. It's straight line speed anyway. Let's get back to kind of the whole point that we were here. 255 miles an hour will put the car into joint 9th place. It is the same speed as the Jaguar XF RS. It is a mile an hour down on the Carrera GT and 3 down on the Lotus 11. Interestingly, it's 9 down on the Porsche 550 Spider. It does, though, beat the BMW 1M, the Mercedes C63, the Lotus Type 49, the Aston Martin Vanquish with 255 miles an hour is an awful, awful lot of speed. Not quite got the control, though, to survive the corner. Yeah, that's quite an expensive crash. Also, just noticed how low the windscreen is compared to, well, the driver's head. Yeah, that wouldn't be very comfortable. However, that is going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.